Welcome, everybody. It's Cindy and Lisa tonight. How are you?
Good. I'm trying to get into my YouTube studio, but it must be the way. Ah, finally came up. The weather is really messing up the everything. How are you, Lisa?
I'm good. How are you tonight?
I'm hot. I feel like I'm
Okay.
in. I feel like I'm in Florida.
Hot
I
and muggy.
really, yeah. I feel like I'm in Florida right now. I mean, I love Florida. I could live if I could live in Florida, but
Belt Loop is here. Hi, Belt Loop.
hi,
Welcome. I
Bella.
hope you are doing well. Can you see the chat, Cindy?
Oh,
Show comments on stage.
sorry. Who's on stage?
Belt Loop. Hey, Belt Loop.
Oh.
Welcome. Thank you so much. We got a good show tonight. We have a good show, guys.
We do.
So
we do.
Not too long ago, a few minutes ago, and she was like, here, let me fix my stand. She was like, did you ever hear of X, Y, and Z? And I said, no. And she goes, well, they're doing a special on her tonight, or not this week. Is it this week?
It was on 2020.
Okay.
Actually, it's called Vanishing Nancy Woodrum, I think it is. Okay, so Nancy Woodrum was a hairdresser, a mom, a wife, and got murdered.
Damn. And when did this happen?
They found her in I think 2018 or 2019. What was left? So anyways, it's kind of hard when you know somebody.
Okay.
We weren't best friends and we didn't do wine tasting or anything like that. But when you're in sales and you go to their salons, you build a rapport with them. You build friendship with them. You know them. Her daughter was a hairdresser. She was a great hairdresser. She was a great salon owner, a hairdresser. She had a real good recognition name in that area, very professional.
Sure.
And even Greg knew them, because I gave Greg that territory. So I knew Nancy Woodrum from the 80s.
Okay.
Like late 90s, late 80s, early 90s, all the way when I left in 2017. That's many, many years. And I took Greg and I both took sales reps in there, vendors, and we built a relationship to put our products in her salon. You know what I mean? So and then when Greg and I were gone from the company that we worked at, that's when we heard on TV that she was missing.
Wow.
And then, of course, so what happened was, you know how you get bits and pieces of the story, but you never get the whole story. So I got more of the story from watching the show. And I feel like death calls us for some reason. Okay. And I know it's a weird thing to say, but I think that things happen and don't know why things are happening.
Okay.
So when Greg was her rep, Greg took over the territory. Greg met her husband, and I guess they bought this house, this beautiful house, and they were turning it into like a bed and breakfast. And all around her is the wineries. If you go up to Paso Robles, that's what they're known for, is winery. Mm-hmm. And he was a contractor, and he was turning this house into a bed and breakfast environment for people to stay there if they're going to have a wedding and parties. It was a place to stay while they have their venue somewhere else.
Sure.
And I remember when Greg says he met her husband. And then I remember when Greg says that he died of a heart attack.
Her husband did.
Her husband did.
Okay.
Took a toll on her, devastated. She was lost. Now remember, she's a salon owner, so she still had a business to run. She was a good hairdresser. She had everything about. She was total herself. You know, she still had her life going on, but she lost her significant other.
Sure.
And she continued on with the house. I mean, like keeping building it, keeping it up, turning things, you know, so it didn't stop. It kept going. And I remember she told me this a long time ago, that she was turning it into like a bed and breakfast. And I told her, you know, I go, Greg told me that. And she had like a maybe 10 chair salon, a facial room, the 2 manicures, 2 or 3 manicures that I remember. And then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, she condensed her salon and she just wasn't herself. To me, I felt she wasn't herself. And I would I would tell Greg, you know, something's wrong with Nancy. She's just not being herself. You know, it's just not her. You know, when you know somebody, you know their characters and they're always up. She seemed like the salon was real dark and, you know, it's just her and her daughter. She became really, you know, like sad or something. There was something more that was going on. So I don't know. So I always said to her, are you okay? Are you okay? And she goes, yeah, you know, I'm fine. And so she still bought products from me. So then Greg and I, we left the business and everything. And then we saw the news saying that she was missing. She was missing. So what I read on the paper was not even the same that I watched on TV. So it's on 2020 if you want to see it. It was like, to me, it was very close to home. And I know another person when I worked at another company. I didn't know the person.
Okay.
But my friend, a coworker, knew this person. And it was on the billboards on the 405 freeway. It's that girl that vanished back in the 80s. And they couldn't find her. And they found drag marks. They found her car was there. They found okay. You were with me. Do you remember we were driving on the 605 freeway? And my tire blew up and it kind of went like this. And some gentleman, very nice gentleman, came behind us and redid the tire. And he mentioned that there was somebody missing from the freeway. That's the person. Well,
That was back in the 80s.
Back in the 80s. So if you're driving on the 405, you would see this billboard. Well, I had no idea that years later I would meet this person, this friend of mine, very, we're not best friends, but like kind of like coworkers. It was her friend.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is an association. Come on. That was the lady's friend.
Okay. I knew this person. That would be like you going to work and you know this person, right? Right. And then you have a conversation and she's like, that's a friend of mine, you know, that's missing.
Okay. I know, but that's right? Like crazy.
It was crazy. It was like really weird, you know, and I used to drive by that 405 and they found her, but she was in Arizona. That's another true story that made it on the headlines.
Wow. Okay.
And I was at work and the phone rang and I answered the phone. Mm-hmm. And I forgot her name. And I just said, oh yeah, she's here. And I went and got her. And that's when she found out that they found her. So I told Greg about it. You know, Greg's like, yeah, like he thought I did. I go, no, it's a true story. I did not know her. I knew about it. I heard about it.
Did they find her at the house or did they find her at a crime scene? Like, you know what I mean? Like somewhere.
Okay. So then I'll go back to Nancy. So what happened was, and hers was pretty on. It was like, you kind of heard what happened was on. But when I saw it on TV, I was like, wow. She was missing for like 5 years. She was going to a concert. It was her friend. And she never came home. So they found the car on the freeway. they saw drag marks, like she was dragged. So what happened was in Arizona, you know how you go down to Modesto or you go down to Baker, they got those homes, they got cars outside, they got trailers outside. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
There was a place like that in Arizona.
Wait a minute. They found her car in Arizona?
No, her car was on the 405 freeway because she went to a concert somewhere in
Nancy did.
no. I'm talking about the girl. Okay, let's go back to Nancy. Okay. I got you all confused. Okay. Nancy lives in Paso Robles. The other girl lived in like in Irvine.
Okay.
Okay, let's forget that one. Okay, I'm not even going to go there. All right. Nancy was 62 years old, I believe. She lived in Paso Robles. She had one or two kids, either a son and a daughter, but I know she had a daughter. Okay. And they were both hairdressers. Nancy was a horsewoman. She was married, and I believe she was Jehovah Witness and all that. And that's what they're talking about. I didn't even know she was Jehovah Witness. I didn't know all that. I learned more from the show about her. Okay.
Wow. Okay. But you knew who firsthand in your business relationship.
Yes, I would go in her salon and talk to her. I mean, like, hi, how you doing, Nancy? Talk. Like actual conversations, and bring vendors there. I knew her.
How
And
many
then when
years prior to her dying did you have a business relationship with her?
like from 1992 all the way to 2017.
So you saw her when she was
Every 2
really
weeks.
young. When she was really young, you saw her in her store, and she had a successful business that lasted that long.
And she was already successful before I even met her, and then in
Wow.
92. So she had a thriving salon, like you want to get in there, you want to do business with them.
And was she in wine country? Where was
Her house was in the wine country. I don't know if she was selling wine. They didn't say that.
Oh no, what I mean is that her salon was in wine country.
She was right off on the main street, so
Oh.
like, but do you know when I first moved there, the winery was not the big thing?
Yeah, it was strawberry.
Wine, yes, wine came in later. I mean, it was like, it just went like that. I mean, it was the weirdest thing that it went from coffee, art stores, antique shops to wine. It was just like, floop. It was the weirdest thing. It was like, when did it change? Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. All the winery that are in these stores were one time coffee stores, coffee shops, art shops, cookie shops. They were gone. It was wine tasting now. So wine tasting became big in the year of 2000s, but in the 90s it wasn't like that. Los Olivos was the same way. Art, coffee, clothing, totally different. Art festivals and all that. And all of a sudden one day you turn around and it is a booming wine business. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it wasn't like that. So things have now, Solvang's becoming more wine, and now it's beer. People like to go taste beer, breweries. That's the next thing. So it's not the mom and pop shops anymore. It's the mom and pop shop wines and breweries. Okay. So things changed. So what happened was then for some reason, she went down to like 2 or 3 chair salon. And this is before she passed. So anyways, she just didn't seem like herself. I think she was just like going through I think she lost her husband, but she still held on the house. That's what they were talking about on TV. She still kept things going. She was like, so what happened was, I guess she was supposed to show up to a church event, and she didn't show up, which was very odd. And she was going to teach the Bible and all that, their faith. And then they're like, we're she's supposed to be here. So then they called up her daughter, and I think her daughter says, well, go down and go check my mom's house. And they saw the window open, the TV's blaring, her car's outside. And where is she? When that happened, there was a wedding guest going on. They had people there staying at the house that weekend.
Okay.
So the day before, she said hello, and people were showing up that were staying at the house. So she had like a big cottage for the bride. And then behind that was where people can stay there. And
Okay.
then she stayed down there. And she's missing that weekend while this girl's getting married.
Oh wow.
I didn't know that. I thought it was something else. I thought that they said on the paper that she went to a party. You see how that's what I'm saying? That that's what I heard.
Yeah.
That Nancy went to a party, and when she went home, she didn't. They couldn't find her. Well, that's not what I read. I read she was supposed to go. What I watched was supposed to go to a Bible study or something like that. It was
Sure.
completely different. Okay. But a lot of it came out the same. But I didn't know there was a wedding party at her house. Because remember, it was like a bed and breakfast. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? So the lady called up her daughter, and they all went down there, and then her son-in-law is the one that saw the blood on the headboard.
Really?
Yeah. So they called the police. Once he saw the blood and there was blood on the pillows, it was like, and her keys were, now they did say that her keys were there, her purse was there, everything was there. Nothing was, no money was taken, nothing. Just she's missing and there's blood.
Okay.
The same time the wedding party was having a venue. This is what it says on the TV. That's new to me. And they're coming back and they got everything taped off. So guess what? Now they've got to be screened. So the wedding person did not want to be seen on TV. They just heard her voice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they excuse them. Where were they going to go? All their stuff is there. They can't, they told them they couldn't stay there. And they're like, all my stuff is here. I mean,
Yeah.
so I guess they worked it out. And then she was missing. So anyways, somebody was driving down the street. This is strange. So someone's driving down the street and they found clothes on the street. Like it was like, have you ever been to Cambria, going to Hearst Castle? Like the roads are winding and they're way up there, like middle of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Like the birds when she's driving
Yes.
through the night.
Yeah. You just see the road, but and they're
And
just
the headlights.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And like the police officer detective said, if you're driving up here and you get lost, there's nothing out here. There's like nothing. You know what I'm saying? So they found some clothes and it was hers. So now they found that. And then so what happened was, you know how every time I would go to salons, I would hear this all the time. Does anybody know it's a contractor that's real inexpensive that can fix my house? Do you know a contractor that can come down and do my concrete? Does anybody know somebody that come do my floors?
Sure.
I don't know if people really do that anymore, but they did that then. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, somebody came to my house and they fixed the carpet. Oh yeah, somebody came to my house, but some of them have license, some of them don't. You know what I mean? It was like all the time. I'm not kidding. People tell me, Cindy, when you got the water heater out, you should, I can find out somebody that can come to your house and fix. And Greg's like, no, we'll get somebody. After that happened, Greg goes, no, we'll find somebody. But people still today, do you know somebody can come to the house and fix that? I mean, it's like, very open, very open. It's like no fear. So I guess she hired a contractor and he had people that worked for him.
Okay.
And they were painting and all this stuff. And they were putting new flooring, I guess, or something, or stairs up to the room. And they're like doing things to keep the house going, to keep everything going.
Yeah.
Because her husband passed away. And one of them workers had issues. I guess he was attracted to women and that they were talking to the person that he was under him. He contracted him, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Worked for him and said he was like, he liked women and stuff like that. He liked older women. He'd go to Vegas and he'd go to places. But I think he was married. He
Okay.
had a girlfriend. He had a daughter. They kept telling him, you better be careful. stay away from all of that stuff. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Well, I guess she got, so, and here, we have people that go to salons. They used to, I don't know if they still do, and sell tamales.
Mhm.
And people buy dozen tamales, and then they come back 3 days later and they drop them off. And I even knew them. They would, oh, there's such and such. She's going to each salon. So I would know her too. They go home, make all these
You
tamales.
order them in advance.
Yeah, I'm sure they did it with you guys too in your place, right? And she gave the gentleman some tamales to be
Okay.
nice, not as, and he took it as if she was,
Interested in him.
and she wasn't. So in the story, he goes back, and I guess he tried to go back and it didn't happen. So then he goes back again. Well, you know what happened?
He made his way into the house and forced
Basic
himself on her,
forced himself on her,
and now she's
wrapped
going.
her up, put her in the truck,
What?
driving down the road, and the things are flying out of the truck.
And he assaulted her apparently, right? That's the
Yeah.
story. Wow.
And I didn't know that part. That's what I'm saying. Some of it came out like totally different. And I cried, because it was.
She so that's like she was living alone, and
Yeah.
he had access inside the house. So
And
obviously
that he was painting and stuff. They said he was really nice. And as a matter of fact, when the detectives were talking to everybody, they talked to everybody,
and
the wedding party, the people that worked on her house, neighbors, they screened everybody. They even talked to him and saw nothing.
did they ever find the body?
Mm-hmm. He
Okay.
took them. So when he found out they got him I forgot how so I was watching it. It came out to a cell phone or something, and it just led to him. It just went boom, boom. You hear these things about somebody who is gone for 30 years and they find them. God says you will not go without
Yeah.
finding out. I'm very Catholic, so I believe in that God, if it takes years, they will find you. They'll find who did it to you. So I watch all those stories 30 years later, and I want to watch it, So
Yeah,
anyways,
you'll have your day of judgment. Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So when he realized he was caught, he took them to her, and it showed her skull, what was left. He just left her there.
Out in the fields where prey can just come in and pick at it, and that's disgusting. He lived with that. I wonder if he had done that before.
We'll find out. I was so upset. I was just like,
What his history must have been like, But wait a minute, you knew about the story before.
I knew that they found her and all that, but I didn't know that. I thought she was at a party. She was supposed to go to a Bible thing. That's what I'm saying. So certain parts of it was wrong, like the Bible thing. And they said that there was a guy riding on a motorcycle, and they went to go, it was like, and maybe it's true, but I got a bits of this and a bits of that and a bits of this and a bits of that. I never.
That was part of the investigation. Like maybe she did meet somebody riding on.
They said it took that long, 18 months, I think it was.
So they had all these different things that she encountered, and and regardless of what you guys think, where Cindy lives, they have senior social groups.
Yes.
And so she probably you belong to one of those lodges or groups, and also being in the hair industry, she knew a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, you have to remember when you own a business for that many years, you're going to know a lot of people. You're going to know a lot of groups. You're going to know the mayors. You're going to probably know the Chamber of Commerce. You get to know a lot of people. And you got to remember, it's not Los Angeles. It's still a small county. It's still a small, Hearst Castle's only so far away. They've got San Luis Obispo's like 30 minutes away. It's still, they're not, yes, they're towns, but they're spaced out. Like in town, the homes are next to each other, but the nice homes are out in the boonies. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And if you don't know where you're driving, you people get lost. Because they when you're going on the main road and then you get off the road and they got little sections, can get lost. If it's dark, they don't have street lights, they don't have you got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
So when I drove up that way, or and I drove up that way, we knew the main roads in between Cambria and Paso. But if you take off the road and you're going down the hill, there's no lighting. You have to know where you're at. You have to,
Yeah, you have to know
it's
your surroundings.
you have to.
Isn't there, like, you told me that there was the broken something or other that's out in the boonies? There's a restaurant that you went to, that you and Greg, very famous, the what's it called? The famous restaurant. It's a wine restaurant. It was in the movie Sideways.
Oh, Sideways. The hitching post.
Okay, so the hitching post, they have two of them. One of them is in this town, but one of them's off the beaten path.
Yeah, like it's on Casmelia.
Okay.
Casmelia. So it's like not even, it's not, oh my God. So I think did I tell you? So you go, it's in the back roads.
Yeah.
In the back roads. And I don't know if the movie was there. I think the movie was in San Ynez by Solvang. Okay.
I think it was.
You drive there and you're like, where is it? You're standing like, three buildings, the restaurant, a postal office, and 10 apartments. Bunch of cows out there, and you're like, where is it? You're here. It's right here. It's like you just get out, you make a right, and it's there. That's Camellia. That's Casmelia. It's right there. It's like you can't even realize it that you're even there. You're like, oh, okay.
Is that restaurant still there? The hitching post?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. But everybody knows about it that are from here, their family lived here, it's all family owned. They know this. Like when I went there, I was talking to the owner, but I didn't know I was talking to the owner because I don't go there all the time. I'm not,
Sure.
And I guess his wife passed away.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't know that. I don't go there every day, because some people go there to the bar, they go, and the girl says, well, his wife passed away. I go, I don't know that. I could be from out of town.
Well, let's clarify what happened. They were not very nice to you.
No, they weren't.
When you went to visit, and you had asked a very nice question, and they said, I forgot what it was.
It was about his wife. He said something about his wife, and I just said, oh, and I don't know what it was. She goes, and it turns out that she's his daughter-in-law or something like that. She goes, his wife passed away. I go, I don't know that. I don't live here. And I go, what happens, Lisa, if you were with me and you're from Long Beach and you're there? Are you going to know everything? Because so many people go there every week, and that's fine. But not everybody's in, I'm not Mayberry RFD. Okay.
No.
I
forgot the question I forgot what happened, but she was like upset.
Oh, she got mad. Greg walked out. I'm like, Jesus Christ, we had a nice dinner and it turned into be a shambles. And I will not go back there because I don't like the way I was treated. Because I said that. I go, you don't treat people like that. I said, I said, what happens if I live in Santa Maria, but I don't come here every day. I came here to relax with my husband. I go, it's our anniversary. I go, and his wife died, and it's also my anniversary. I don't know who he is, and you should be catering to me. I was like,
and I mean,
I'm the customer.
And it's unfortunate, but when you have a restaurant, and I know that if you have if you're in mourning, then you need
don't be there.
You got to separate that.
Right. And there was something going on, and that's what it was. People were going up to him and asking him how he's doing and this and that. And I just said, I don't know what it was. It was something. And I just said, oh, hope you're okay. And I don't know what it was. And then something, she says, his wife died, and which was her mother-in-law, I guess. And I'm just like, how would I know that? It's not like I knew him. I don't know him by word. I don't come there every day. I
Well,
only go there like once a year. It's not like I'm there every day.
that was literally, I think, like what, once or twice you had been there. So
Yeah. It's not, so Greg just said, that's it. That's the end of that. So we would go to the hitching post in San Ynez because it's like, and then Greg didn't even want to go there anymore. He goes, let's go to AJ Spurs. I said, okay. He just felt like it was uncalled for. It's like, you have to separate that right now. Right now, you got a business running. Be professional,
sure. 100%.
right? I mean, I lost Greg, but I'm not going to be, downer every 5 seconds for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? It's like people ask me how I'm doing, but I'm not going to spend 3 hours on it. You know what I mean? They're going to, because eventually I've talked to a couple of grief sessions, like on phone, and talked to my doctor. And he said that you can't bring down everybody. You got to keep yourself going, because eventually, do we understand? We do. Doctors do. But I can't bring everybody down all the time.
Yeah. But she had
Yeah.
just passed away too.
Well, yeah, but I don't know how she died. I don't know anything. You know what I mean? I didn't go in detail. But people that went there all the time, they're locals. They go there once a week when their family come. That's fine. They know them.
Sure.
I'm going to have a steak dinner.
Which I'm sure they encountered several times that night with just people coming in to eat. Don't know
Right.
the family, don't know anybody, probably don't
And
even
then
know.
you say that to them, something like that. And
That's kind of immature.
well, the waitress apologized to me. She goes, I'm
Oh,
really
okay,
sorry
okay.
that happened. Well, because she heard it, she's like, at least waitresses get it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
their
yeah.
bread and butter. And she should think of it too, because she was a bartender. You know what I mean? The girl. So it's just, when people come in and I work in sales, I'm not there to make their life miserable. You know what I mean? I'm there to help them and have, be nice to them and get their products and find out. They're not there to say, Cindy, okay, tell me about your whole story. You know what I mean? If it turns in a conversation about it, like there's people named Betty, she lost her husband. Somebody else lost their husband. Somebody else lost their wife. They know me. They come in once in a while. Megan knows who they are. They'll ask me and see how I'm doing and stuff, but I'm not going to go tell everybody and bring everybody in a down mood.
Yes. And you don't have to tell every single person that comes into the store that you don't even know.
Thank you. I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Wow. So anyway, that's getting back to the Vanishing Nancy Woodrum. That story is from 2008, but NBC just put, or ABC, one of those.
Yeah, so things happen, but they don't put it out right away till years later.
Wow.
So I guess it just came out 2 or 3 days ago. So when I saw the Vanishing of Nancy Woodrum, I didn't click because I saw it on my recommend on my TV set. It said Nancy, and I just saw like a photo, but it didn't have a photo, And then it came up, and then it came up, and then it came up, and then yesterday I clicked on it, and I'm like, oh, isn't that weird? Like it kept coming up and kept coming up, and I just felt like, I'm sure people may think that her soul was saying, hear my story.
It's odd how they knew that you knew, like how the algorithms work. Like
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what was weird. It was very weird.
And put her back up on your screen.
Yeah, and I felt closure that I know she's in a better place. I prayed for her. I prayed for her the day it happened. I prayed for her when we found out. But I always wondered the closure. And I finally, and I pray for her daughter. And I mean, millions of people are going to know about this story.
Now they are. Yeah.
So, me talking about it, that means it's okay to talk about it now because it's done. The court's all done. Everything's done. You know what I'm saying? So he's in prison now. And it's just like, it's just sad. It's sad that when you know them.
And then also how they suffered. I mean, you know what I mean? You're like living in the same town. That's like me and a neighbor or somebody I know who's like a neighbor or a small business or somebody that you just know, and all of a sudden you find out, and then the way they died, you're like, oh, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, and right, and they live in your neighborhood. You may
Yeah,
not be best friends, or let's say when you worked at that flower shop
yeah.
and some customers came in and you find out that person is the one's missing. That person is the one that you're like, oh my God, I just saw her a week ago.
And then you're like, I didn't see any signs. She never said anything. 'Cause
Yeah.
you start thinking about, well, was she dating somebody? How the
Yeah.
hell did this person get in their house? And she never said anything. Then, you know what I mean? It's like, and the family's like, it's a big mystery. How the hell did something like that happen?
Right.
Scary.
And then the sad thing about a lot of times they think somebody did it and it's not even them. It's not even close to that. They're like, I wasn't there.
It's so scary too, because it can happen to anybody.
On the wrong place on the wrong time. So when Greg and I heard that happen, Greg's like, no, we'll get somebody who's legit contractor, license, the whole thing. But he hires somebody. It wasn't the person that owned the business.
Yeah. That's how, well, Lance and I got a lot of subcontractors. We even had somebody that we needed a repair done right away when we were putting this room together. Lance went,
Right.
I told him, I said, go get a day worker.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Yes.
But you come over, and that guy worked his ass off.
But Lance is there, a man's there. You weren't I'm not saying he would, you have to have somebody there. And I really think that women should not be by themselves. I really don't think so.
Lisa, I'm always about, because we had a lot of the subcontractors and the contractors were very difficult to get.
Mm-hmm. They're busy. Mm-hmm.
They're always busy. They don't even want to take your calls.
Price is up. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. But if I do hires, David needs to be here. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care what it is. I think a woman should always have somebody there and not be by herself. I just think that's the truth. And that's what they said. If she probably would have been by herself, nothing would happen. I mean, and when you hear stories about a man that passes away from something like we're women,
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Remember, Dad had a bet when the serial killer, what's his name was going around. He was like, where is he?
Oh, the Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker. That's what I'm saying. The dog's like, don't hit me.
What a life we lived. And then we had the Helter Skelter thing happen.
Oh.
Then that happened. Oh my God.
Hillside Stranglers on the 605.
We had the Hillside Strangler.
That's what we're saying. Yes, remember that man said, you don't want to be by yourself. And guess what? He could have been someone too, but he wasn't. But that's what I'm saying. Look how quickly, we're like, yeah, help our car.
And women back in the day hitchhiked.
Yes.
On the freeways in LA, there were a lot of people who hitchhiked.
Well, why you think Ted Bundy, he's like, scary. My friend, I know you know her, who she was. Her name was Barbara. She had a bunch of friends. They had a Volkswagen bus. She told me that. She goes, Cindy, we are so lucky we're alive. They went cross country to Canada. Her and some girls and a couple of, she's like, Cindy, anything could have happened to us. That's what she was saying. We were, so lucky that she goes, nothing happened to us. Sleeping on the side of the road, she says, going into a park, we just go in the park there, park in the parking lot, we'll all go to sleep. And then you hear these things on TV and you're like,
yeah, I mean, we had a lot of, now I never participated, but I know friends who would be dating and they would go up in the canyons and make out.
Yes.
Like in high school, they were
in high school,
younger than 18.
Do you know how many people have stories about that one too? I mean, up in the Whittier Hills.
Yes, Whittier Hills Canyon.
Yeah. There's some things that happen up there. It was on TV. God, I was watching it about a year ago. That there was some girl up there. Yeah, they found her, and it's like, oh my God, I went up there. What are you talking? You know, me and my boyfriend were, because it was like in the hills. You know, we just were not afraid. And now, you know, now people nowadays they're saying do not do that. But you know what? I watched this guy, and he talks about people that go hiking.
Okay.
Okay, you know, like Yosemite, all, you know, all the places, the hiking, you know, all the big famous places. And it is stunning how many people don't come back. You know what I mean? And they and he's even hiked in those places. You know what I mean? And he's like, you know, you got to watch yourself. You got to know your surroundings. You got to know where you're at. You got to, and it's not just people, it's the weather, the snow, the winds. You know, you're not dressed right. You don't have the right guard. I I watch all this. I watch him. I don't watch everything that's beauty. I like to watch Faces I've Forgotten. What he does, he goes to the cemeteries, and let's say like Nancy Woodrum, he would go to her place and he would talk about her life. Go to her where her salon was at. He'll show the house, and then where her rest, and he'll leave her some flowers.
Okay, that's an
Okay.
interesting approach.
That's an it called Face of Forgotten. I watch him, you know, or he went to the Wyatt Earp place. So this is where Wyatt Earp lived in Los Angeles, and this is where he's buried. And that's how I found out about Wyatt Earp, brother, Earl Earp, when I went to his cemetery, Greg and I. So I like watching him. I like watching Scott Tape, who was a Friends of Adamu. He does the same thing. He goes to the facility where it happened, and then, you know, and they all say it. You gotta watch yourself. You know what I mean? It's, and they say that when they were young, they saw people were so, you know, nonchalant, hitchhiking, driving around at night. All that is, and I'm sure people still do it today. I watch him, and then I watch like 48 Hours. I watch 2020. I'm just, because I know it's true. I know they're true stories.
Sure.
And some of them we know of, and some of them I've heard of, you know what I mean? So, and when it's close to home, it's even more weird, you know, when you're like, God, that's where I lived, or that's where I went, or, you know, it's weird.
And your brother-in-law?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
Isn't it weird? It wasn't a famous story, but it but it's close enough. And he knew who those people were.
Yes. Crazy story.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, and then he just pops off and says, like, you know, like we just talked about Helter Skelter, and Lance goes, yeah, I did time with Tex Watson. I walked yard with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, that means that they walked, exercised, had conversation.
Yes.
For hours. They knew, like, I knew his cell. I knew he had like a pet. It was a kangaroo mouse. And I was like, he's like, yeah, I knew everything. How the guy lived.
He's not, and he can't hurt anybody. And if he does, it's not going to do him any, it's not going to, you know, it just prolongs his thing. And
yeah,
he's where he belongs. I hate to say
it. Dangerous human being inside, like Lance said, but
outside,
he's never ever going to get out.
Right. And it's for him being influenced.
Yeah, and I think that, I don't know where he was in his drug use, but apparently Lance is like, that guy's never going to get out.
It's just, I just can't believe what they did. You know, I mean, to even do something like that.
Yeah. I mean, there was some type of mind control. Lance told me that there was some kind of mind control that this guy had, but also with the drugs and stuff. And basically how he was raised and things like that. Lance goes, it's just a mix of a formula that was just made for him to do what he did.
Right.
So it was like he was in the perfect situation, worst situation at the worst time, but it was perfect just for him.
But
Whatever.
everybody thought they were butterflies. They all thought they were, out there and they were doing
They
all
were doing
this.
drugs
And
a lot. Yeah.
yeah, their brains were fried.
Yes.
And got this idiot who thinks he
Yes.
wants to be a band leader, singer. He wants control. And because it was Doris Day's son's house and he didn't live there anymore. It was somebody else. And poor Sharon Tate had to get the reef of it. It's just,
And the weird thing is that the industry, even like the people that we watch on YouTube, like Adam the Woo and all those guys we used to watch, a lot of them knew people who knew the singer or the artist that was whatever his name was. And he was in a circle of entertainers. It's crazy.
you're right. So it was just sad. It kind of hit me a little bit.
Ugh. Well,
I know
is it now?
it was just weird how it kept coming up on my TV and I watched it.
Well, then anybody who wants to watch it, it's on YouTube now?
Oh, it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I saw it. It said 2020. And then I was like, so I went downstairs to tell Megan and David, because I told them about it before, and I go, it's on TV. So I watched it.
Okay.
I was just like, oh. Just like Greg didn't believe me, the airplane that crashed in Cerritos. I go, no, an airplane crashed in Cerritos.
Oh yeah, that landed in people's houses in the neighborhood.
He didn't. Do you know my husband did not believe me? I told Greg a long time ago. He goes, I never heard of that. I go, it really happened. I go, this plane was coming again. I go, it was coming from Mexico, from Mexico, and it was flying in, I think, to LAX or something like that. And a small plane hit it, and it flew in a town. Like boom. So one day, I'm watching TV and it was on, like a 2020 thing, and I go, there it is. There's the whole story. Cerritos, California, 1980. Do you know Dad was watching TV and he's watching TV and I was like, bam, our house is in Whittier, not even near Cerritos, but that's how far the vibration traveled. And our house shook really bad. And then it was all over the news.
It happened in 1986. 40 years ago this year.
And some houses were completely gone. I mean, like the whole family was in there.
Yeah, people died in that crash.
Yes. This one lady, if you watch the story, this one lady went to the store, I think, to make breakfast and left her family there. And when she was driving back, it was coming down. I think her husband died. Her son got out. She comes in and it's like,
that is so sad. Here's the image of it. Hold on. I'm going to share the image.
I told Greg, why would you not believe me? Why would I tell a story like that? I'm like, you don't believe me?
That's
look at that. That's a whole town. And the mall was right down the street where I worked at, Cerritos Mall.
I was in a neighborhood.
Yeah, it's like right down the street. Yes, my little one.
Sad. 40 years ago this year it happened.
Can you believe
in
it?
August 31st. So it was hot. Kids were ready to go back to school. And then that happened. It's just singed. Man, that's bad. Hang on, let me stop sharing. That's so scary.
Yeah, so he didn't believe me on that one.
What else?
And then, okay. Well, I used to wait on the mom and the son. Remember the father that burned up the son by Knott's Berry Farm?
No.
Mm-hmm. He used to come in the Brea Mall.
Do you know that my college professor, his son was slaughtered in the Chino massacre. That guy that, remember, he got out.
From the Chino prison.
He escaped
And
from prison and he
yes,
went into a house and
yes.
killed an entire family.
But
And
one child made it. One child, the guest, the one of the kids' friends made it.
right, they had a sleepover.
Right. So I was working at May Company at Brea Mall. And the assistant manager parents lived in Chino Hills.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see, one of the girls worked in cosmetics. Her parents' first house burnt down. So they redid the whole house. Okay. So she had the Christmas party there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we all go to the Christmas party, and everybody is in this bedroom. You know, they're all in the bedroom. Her parents' bedroom faced the house.
Oh my God.
So anyway, so they're like, Cindy, go look at the house. And I'm like, what house? They go, with all the stuff going on right now, it's right there. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? They go, you just passed it to get to her house. She lived right there, because remember, it's up in Chino Hills. It's not like
Yeah.
home to home to home. And you can see one of the bedrooms, they leave everything as is. It had, like, this was open like that. You know what I mean? Like that. And it was like, the kind of drapes that go down like this, so you just move it. It was
Mm-hmm.
like that. And then it was really dark. And then if you go back to her other house, you can see the where he was staying at. That was like a little. Her house was right there. I mean, like, it
And
was so eerie. I was like shaking because I didn't want to look. Isn't that weird? I got scared. I
I
didn't.
don't
I go, I
think
don't
he
want to.
knew them. I think he picked the house at random, right?
Yeah, he got out, and he okay. So this is what she was saying. He goes along. Her mom was friends with their neighbor. Like,
Yeah.
they had a neighbor down the street. And the lady that owned the house told her neighbor, she goes, guys, "M- she goes, my canned goods keeps messing, like bread. She noticed that she had, like, there was a room for her chickens or something like that. And then she had like a down outside. There's like a pantry, but it wasn't in the inside. It was like on the outside. And
Mm-hmm.
she started noticing there was food missing, like canned food, bread, water. And she kept saying that. She goes, I know we bought the stuff. And we're talking about, like, for like a week before it even happened, like a couple of weeks. And the neighbor says, well, maybe you thought you got it. And she goes, no. She goes, I know I got it. She goes, just things are missing. And one of the kids wanted to have his friend to sleep over. And he didn't come home the next day.
That
And the
was my
dad's,
professor's kid.
oh my God, he survived.
No, one of his kid was the one who didn't survive. The
Oh,
professor's son didn't come home. So he
right.
called the house and nobody answered. So he went over to see what was going on. And he's the one who discovered.
Never. Yes, yes. It was the young son that survived because he got, yes, yeah. I got it backwards. Yes. So he goes down there to see what's going on. I knew the story because they were telling me all about it. And the reason why she knew, because they all went to their houses and went to ask them questions and everything. But the lady, the one that she was talking to, knew them too. So that she knew what was going on because she had to go. You know what I'm saying? And he went down there and he found the site.
Yeah. That was my professor in college.
How was he when he talked about it?
They
How
said,
did,
we never talked about it. The kids, the school, some older students said, hey, da da da. If you know about this, that was his son. He's the one who discovered it. It's
oh,
kind of like the students eventually.
yeah.
Every student would find out. But somebody told me, and I think it was a professor who said that the man that you know today teaching is not the same man that.
Oh, it just destroyed him, right? It
Oh,
was
yeah,
just,
right.
yeah.
He's
And
not.
he saw everything, like the whole,
Yeah. And his own son. I mean, his son. That's sad.
They said that he came out of the prison and then walked down the like the what do you call them? The gallows, like the river, like just and it just
Uh-huh.
and it led to their place. I mean,
Yeah, like when I lived in Huntington Beach, I have the reservoir,
yes, that's what I
and
mean.
some of the houses sit
Yes,
along the reservoir, and he probably saw that she had a pantry,
yes,
so he took advantage of it and probably lived nearby and was eating from there.
it's
And
so
it's
sad.
just so strange how you knew you had visited them, and I'm telling you, we never even talked about this story.
No,
And
I
I'm
was
telling you that my professor was the
just
father.
found that out just now. And everybody, like all the girls in
Oh, great
cosmetics, and everyone's
story.
like looking in the room. I go, what are you guys looking at? They're like, there it is, right there. What? It was just so eerie. It's all dark. Oh,
So creepy and scary. Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Too many story. We have too many stories, like in Cal. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has stories. Let us know if you ever want to. Like, I know it's dark and eerie, but we're
It's
all
life though. It's true life.
in the
You don't.
headlines anyway. All this dark, eerie stuff. What can we say? I mean, stuff's coming out every single freaking day. You
Yeah.
know, and people are like, "What the hell's going on?" You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like when I saw that little boy, I he came right up and he goes, I want to get something for my mom. His mom used to come in and of course, one says something, her son's the one. And then he used to do he used to come and do skateboarding. He would come to skateboard and then he was so sweet. But we had to be talking to him like I'm talking to you. You know what I mean? It was like just see, Megan's never felt something like that, like actually meet. Like Greg said the same thing. He didn't understand that I knew about the people in Cerritos, you know what I mean? Because I knew some people that have friends that live there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, um, and then I used to go there to the Mormons fireside. I used to go dancing. I mean, people lived there. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
the neighborhood. I knew a lot of people. And then let's see, then I knew about the boy. And then like I knew who Nancy was. Then the girl with her friend. I mean, it's like was so close to home that I knew a lot of around me, my surroundings. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
then you kind of learn the story. It's just weird when you hear it on the news and then they walk in, they're talking to you and
Mhm.
you're helping them. And then and you can't say, it's like, okay, then he's talking to me and it's him. You know what I'm saying? Because you go to the register and they're like, that's the one. I go, I had a funny feeling, but
That's where
he just,
I was talking to a young kid at work, and I was like, I can't imagine, I can't believe the number of people that we like encounter
yeah.
in our place. I go, people who I go, just think about it. Can you imagine the number of people who've come here who've been like psychopaths, or you know what I mean? It's
And
like
not know it.
you have no idea. You have no idea. You're just walking down. Can I help you?
Well, do you know what happened right here in my house? This
No.
house where I'm at. So I had neighbors next door right there. And they were always odd, you know. And the mother had a son, and the son was in all. He
Yeah.
used to be screaming. I think I told you about screaming. Then she had another son who was weird, but she didn't stay here. He stayed here. And I guess he had some kind of money from something that happened to him or something like that.
Okay.
Okay, so there was a dog. They got a dog, and it was in the backyard. And I kept telling Greg, I go, that poor dog doesn't have a doghouse. He's out there running around. I go, it rains, it's windy, and there's nothing for him. He had no, it's just driving me crazy. And Greg always said, mind your own business. And I would say, yeah, but I can't handle this. I don't like seeing that.
It bothers me too. Yeah.
Okay. So, but I thought it was odd. So Greg and we went shopping, came back, and our front of our house, our tree was all chopped up where their window was at.
Okay.
So the mom comes up, knocks on our door and says, "Oh, I cut the tree." I said, "You're not supposed to touch my tree. You're not allowed to touch my tree." She goes, "Well, it has a lot of um, leaves and stuff, and they can't see out the window." I go, "What do they need to see out the window?"
Okay.
Okay. So we let it go, but I was mad. And the people across the street, "I can't believe she cut your tree. She's another." So anyway, she cut our tree. And it never grew the same. It like never grew the same. So finally I had to get tree guys 2 years ago. And they said, "When did you cut your tree?" I go, "We didn't cut the tree." We told them what happened. They're like, "Oh, okay." So what happened was they had this guy there who was bald headed and a girl. And there was always people going in at 1 o'clock in the morning. Drugs. You already know what I'm talking about, right?
They were dealing drugs. Okay.
Right. So the dog back there was whining because he's lonely. He just had water and food. And finally, they were in the front. Well, the dog was coming through our fence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had Demon, our little Siberian. We had a new puppy, and then we had Howley.
Mm-hmm.
Demon wanted to go underneath.
He
Don't,
dug.
and dug underneath, and he was on the other side. And Greg's like, I'm
So
like,
now
"Where's
you have to
Demon?"
interact with these
He's
people.
on the other side with the dog, and Greg goes, "Oh, we gotta go get our dog back."
Uh-huh.
So Greg goes knocking on the door. They're not there. They don't answer their door. We know, and Greg goes, "I know you're in there. Our dog is in your backyard. I need to go back there and get my dog because we don't know if that dog's going to kill our dog. So they don't answer.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So then Greg comes back and I says, "Well, what's going on?" He goes, "They won't answer." And I go, "They're there. I know they're there." I go, "I saw the drapes move." You know what I mean? So, so, so Greg goes knocking on the door. He goes, "If you don't answer the door," he goes, "I'm calling the cops right now." He goes, "I'm calling the cops." Boom. Door was, he goes, "My dog is in your backyard. I need to get my dog."
Yeah.
And it pissed him off because he's like,
They
really?
were there the whole time and they're just like,
Yeah.
not gonna answer
So
the door.
Greg, we've already had their dog come and busted our fences like 3 times. We've already had to fix our fence 3 times.
Sure.
So that's what Greg says. "Okay, this time our dog went under, but your dog has broken our fence." So our dog went under and Greg says, "Look," he goes, "I don't want to," he goes, "I'm not gonna," first Greg was going to open up, go in there. They didn't
In the
want Greg in there. Yeah, but they didn't want Greg in their house. So Greg goes, I want you to try to get your dog." They wouldn't do that. So finally, Greg jumped over our fence.
Sure.
Greg got a hold of little Demon, and he's a Siberian. He wasn't like a little Chihuahua, and he goes
Back over the fence.
right. But now the dog's grabbing on Greg's pants, like not biting him, but being a little aggressive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
"You took my friend away." And then Greg jumped over, and Greg was pretty shaken up about the whole thing. You know what I mean? So what happened was, there was this bald headed guy, like a,
Biker.
bald head tattoo, yeah, or something. So I walked up to him and I said, "Look," I said, your dog has come through my fence 3 times." And Greg's like, and I went up to him, and Bill Howell was there. They're like, "Cindy, stay away from over there. You don't know what's going on over there." I go, I was done. I was absolutely
It
done.
doesn't I know exactly.
Right. I said, "Your dog has come 3 times." I go, "But I don't want to find you hitting that dog because you're the guys that are responsible for this."
Mm-hmm.
He has no doggy house. I go, "He's by himself out there." I go, "It's freaking raining. It's windy." And I go, "You have a dog back there." I says, "I'm going to call." I go, "I'm done with it. I'm calling somebody because this is unacceptable."
Uh-huh.
And I go, "That dog is becoming like kind of insane because he's got no one. You guys don't play with him. I don't even know if you guys are feeding him." And the guy's like, "Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. It's fine." I said, "No, you only have him there so nobody will go in your backyard, and you want to know when he's barking when somebody's coming out to your house." And I go, "And 2, you guys had his mom come and chop my tree." So he didn't like it. So he put the dog in the garage. And I said, "No, I don't want him in the garage every day either." I was just like, "You're just being mean. This dog has no life." So,
Yeah.
anyways, so Greg, of course, gets mad at me. We have somebody knocking on our doors like 3 days, and we had our boat in the front, and there were detectives.
Uh-huh.
So they come up and they're looking in this window.
Yeah.
It was all over the news, and they
They
were all
came into
over
your
our house.
house?
The detectives had to come up in our house to
Oh, they
get to
wanted,
them.
okay, yeah. And they used your house as a
Our house, yes. So we had to leave. We had to take our dogs. We had to go to, remember our friend Barbara? We had to go to her house because she was a dispatcher. We had to go to her house. They used our house. They were all around our boat with the guns and everything.
as a surveillance. They were surveilling them using your house.
And I knew it. I knew it. I go, everyone's like, and that girl went up to that guy. He was for wanted.
He was on the wanted list.
And the detective, Greg goes, my wife, he goes, she went up to that threatened him.
What
I
you
go,
don't know, you don't know. What you
right.
don't know, you don't know. You don't know that.
They had, you need to get out of the house. You need to come with your hands up for like hours. We're talking about from 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. We were like just waiting to come home. And they had the SWAT team, and there was, my whole house was surrounded. The backyard, all the windows, they smashed them. They actually went in and got them. They had all the guns. Everything was on the all over. You should have saw. I can see it all over in my, because it faces the kitchen.
They had weapons in the house.
All over.
That's why they didn't want Greg to go inside. Greg would have been walking in. You're like, I don't give a shit about the arsenal. Let me get my dog.
I just want my dog. They were all over the sink. They told us they were all over the place. They were walking out with them. They had it open. There was for a week. They were in and out. The whole place was a wreck. And then they had these guys putting up the windows. And one of the guy got the dog. One of the guys that came in that was fixing the windows and everything, because they just like they wouldn't come out. So they finally just bashed all the windows. I mean, like the whole house. It was like the whole house was full of glass.
How long was the house vacant before it was sold again?
Probably about a good, well, they had to remember they had to go to court. They had to, so nobody could buy it. So it was like,
Yeah, because what happens is that they lose, if you're like in drugs, you lose everything. The state takes everything.
yeah,
Does.
she lost everything. You know what I mean? So it was like over a year. And that's not all. We saw her in the van, the mom, on the other end of town. Gray goes, there she is, watching it. Watching it in her van. Gray goes, she's right there. She's sitting in that freaking van. She went to you know where the cul-de-sac is when you come to my house? It's like this. She was on the next street of that watching it. So Greg told Barb, she's right there. Tell them she's right there. But she wasn't the owner. See, it was her son was. I almost went over there, go knock on her window. And Barb just goes, she said he's gonna. Greg goes, Megan and Greg had to pull me back because I was walking over there.
See what you get for cutting my tree. SWAT team. Oh my God.
Oh man, you're talking about Megan will tell you if you ever want to talk to Megan, she'll tell you the whole story. They were in Megan's room. They were in our house.
Yeah, they're not. When Lance and I moved in together, and we were, living on that house on Eucalyptus.
Yeah, yeah.
So one night, we go to bed, and like around midnight, we hear helicopters coming, and
Yeah.
you know, and a whole what you heard, you know what I mean?
Right,
Come
right.
out with your hands. This is the rule. Come out with your hands up. Lance slept through the
The whole
whole thing.
thing.
So I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm hearing everything.
Right.
Everything. This is the police department. Come out with your hands
Yes.
up. And I mean, all kinds of stuff, all kind, you know, you're under arrest.
Everything
You think that
over.
whole script is
And they
running
don't do
over
anything
them.
right. And they keep saying it and saying it. And it was finally they gave up and they go.
They have to give up. Where are they going to go?
Right.
So Lance, because you know, Lance was away for a very long time. So Lance goes, I turn around and I wake him up and I go, don't you hear this? What's going on?
It's like next door.
It's that like because we had a big alley. We had an alley
Right.
behind us, so it must have been there. Lance goes, huh? He goes, well, as long as it's not me.
Exactly. I'm going back to sleep.
I don't care. As long as it's not me. He goes back to sleep. And this went on for hours.
Yeah. I think they finally went in there like 10:30 at night and it started at 5. Well, they came in our house at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And they came back and there was 3 of them. And we had to leave. It was like, no, this is what we're doing. I'm like, well, what happens if my house gets shot? What is someone gonna fix it? You know what I'm saying?
To leave, yeah.
Right. And you know, Greg says, that's fine, but our house is not going to get damaged. You know what I mean? And that's the first thing they say. No, we can't have you here in case there's bullets going around. And Greg goes, well, I'm not coming home to a house full of. You're going to fix the walls and you're going to send us up in a hotel.
That's crazy.
So the only thing they did, they had to fix our fence because they knocked down the fence. Let's see, there was glass, there was, and oh, this is so funny. So then they go to the other neighbors over there. Like, okay, so you know, like you know my backyard, right? There's a home here, there's a home over there. They use another neighbor in case they come running out over their fences, right?
Yeah.
One of them comes out and jumps. They're like, the cops were waiting for them. Walked right into them. Hi, Dan. Right into them. What a dope.
Good morning, Dan.
Running out. Gonna jump over. There they are. So there he goes.
Oh my God.
Oh, it was a mess. Everybody was just like in shock that there was that many, you know, all over the place. And she's there sitting in her car, their mom.
Calm.
Yeah. Not a worry in the world.
And that was like, that's a nice neighborhood too.
Mm-hmm.
She was, and then the fact that she just like took it upon herself to go up and cut your house.
Cut the tree.
Tell you because my family can't see out the window. And you're like, what does that have anything to do with it?
Exactly. That should make her wonder.
Oh man. Well, thanks for sharing, Cindy. I appreciate you sharing that story. It's fascinating.
Yes.
LA and California is just full of like crazy locals.
I seriously, you know, and I mean, we're talking about, you know, like things happen in Orange County, San Bernardino, you know, it's like
California.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a friend, and you know who he is. You met him, and he was he was called in. He was called in. This is in the 70s and the 80s, and he was called in because he was an association. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was, for some reason, he knew somebody and they had talked to him. They go, "Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we see that you're with this person," and turns out it was the Hillside Strangler. It wasn't him, but it was
Right.
the fact that they had he had befriended this kid, and this kid, now that he's a grown up,
Right.
tells a story. He said, some investigators came and talked to me, and they said, "Yeah, do you know so and so?" And he says, "Yeah, I know him." And they're like, "Well, when was the last time you saw him?" And he told them, "Well, the X, Y, and Z." And it
Mm-hmm.
turns out that when the news came up and he was captured, he was one of the people who gave him the tip off because he was
Wow.
on the scene as one of the somebody that the guy. So he's one of his victims.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he could have killed him,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen. He caught him just in time.
But if you think about it, that's how close.
Yeah.
See,
And the
and you
guy's
never.
life was just trouble after that. I mean, he
Wow.
had troubled childhood. It was
Yeah.
terrible.
That's scary. You just don't realize it. And I think that's why I I'm very into reading people. Like, I just know something's not right. Just something's not working out here. Or I get like eerie feelings. You know what I mean? Like I'll see a place or a building or something, and then I find out, oh my God, what happened there? It's like the one I told you about. When Megan was doing a dancing thing
Yeah.
at the Santa Maria High School.
Yeah.
And we went down, and even the auditorium, I didn't even like it. I'm just like, I just didn't remember the old Whittier Theater, Uptown Whittier, that old theater. It was just kind of creepy. It was because it was made in the 1920s.
Yes, I know that
It was
place.
just cold. It didn't have no warm atmosphere.
Yes.
Very antique, nostalgic. But that's how the auditorium was in Santa Maria High School. It was just like odd. But when I went downstairs for her to use the bathroom, for Megan to use the bathroom, I did not like it. I felt like somebody was watching me. I felt my throat caved in. I was just stressed.
Right.
And then I find out there's a ghost there. That's what I'm saying. It's just
Like my whole house.
I saw somebody. I go, who in the hell is standing there? And I thought it was you. I'm like, well, it's not Lisa. I go, oh, it must be. I go, Mom, is that you? And I'm like, the person's not answering. And then finally I turn on I'm like, and the cat, your kitty cat goes like that. And what's the little blonde thing, the little blonde dog you have? She was like on top of me, like looking, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I know I saw something. I was like, and then I felt something like went to my arm, or it was just weird. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
It wasn't the cat. The cat was sound asleep. It was in the corner, and I thought the cat was, pawning on me, and it was not even the cat.
So many people have died inside of this house.
Right. So
Yeah.
they don't rest.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think they do. Well,
It
they
doesn't
say
bother.
that when people go to antique places, now when you hear mediums and all that stuff, or people hear bad and good, they say sometimes when you bring things home, you don't know where that place belonged. You don't know where it came from. You have no idea. And they say that it brings whatever it is into our homes. And I believe that. I really, really do. I believe those things. So um I was roommates with one of my friends, and she loved antiques. I mean, she loved antiques, And I used to always say, no, I don't know about that. I just feel like you don't know where that belonged. You don't know who did anything with that. You have no idea. And she's like, oh, Cindy, and I'm like, so one day, this is odd. So Greg was at the house. We were dating,
Mhm.
and there was this antique bowl. And Greg accidentally cracked it. And I told Greg, oh God, she's going to want me to pay for this. And I don't know how much it's worth. And Greg goes, that thing's only worth like $5. But I don't know that. I just say it. I know she's going to make it sound, it's very nostalgic and it's going to be worth this much. And when I just like, and Greg's like looking at me. Greg was just dating me. And I'm like, she's going to be telling me, I know it's worth money and I don't know what to tell you. And Greg goes, how is she going to know that I accidentally chipped it? And I go, I don't know. I just feel like she's going to know. So Greg goes to the store and gets super glue, right? And she's out of town. Well, she's not even near her house, apartment. She's gone. She's doing something. She's like in Vegas or something like that. The rodeo thing in Vegas. So Greg, gets it and he sits it there. And Greg goes, you have to tell me that thing is worth. I go, I don't know. I just know. But Greg goes, she's going to know if you tell her. Because, I'm real honest. I'm like, oh, no, I have to say something. Okay. So Greg says, I don't want you saying anything. He goes, I'll tell her. So Greg says, I'll tell her. If it's upsetting you, I will tell her. But Greg goes, let me fix it. That's what Greg says, let me fix it. So Greg glues it back up, and puts it exactly where it's at. It didn't even take a week. And she comes up to me and she goes, my thing is cracked. I'm like, what? How would you even know that? I mean, it's like, she has all this stuff, photos. I mean, you know how many times I find something and I don't even know that it's cracked like 6 months later. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, is there a camera here? I'm not kidding. So I said, no. I go, I don't think so. She knew exactly the one.
Okay.
Okay. So I said, well, I go, I didn't do it. I go, I don't. And I go, well, let me ask Greg. So I get when I go, Greg's going to be here Friday. So Greg comes down and I told Greg, I says, she says that she knows that is. He goes, did you go tell her? I said, no. I go, I totally forgot all about it. I went to work and everything. He goes, how would she know that? I mean, it was like it was one of those jars that even had the cracks and you know what I mean? So you really couldn't, you would have to go put water in it to see if the water starts.
A camera in the house, yeah.
Right? So he pours water. Greg did. He poured water in, make sure nothing leaked. And Greg says, yeah, he goes, I dropped it by accident. So I told Greg, you're going to have to tell her the truth. Greg was like, I'm not paying. He just did. He was like, I am not paying a lot of money on this book. And, he was
Did
just.
it look like a piece of junk?
He's like, I know that. And that's the first thing that came out. I got it from this. And I just looked at him. I just sit there going, I knew this was going to happen, And he says, well, I can't get you another one. How much was it worth? Well, I don't know. She goes, I have to look. She goes, because it has an E or an F on it. And Greg goes, what are you talking about? I guess when you get antique, there's like these little numbers and stuff. And he goes, then you should have it in an armoire. He goes, you should have it in a glass case.
That's true.
Yeah, he's like, if it's worth this much money, why is it even out there?
And don't rent your house out and let people have access to it.
Well, that's where it went to the next. And I was just like, she went to my wedding and everything worked out. But it was just like, oh no, Greg, that's okay. You don't have to. But it was just, how does she know though? That's what he was just like. I go, have you been walking around naked here? I says, because if she's got camera. I was just like, I was like looking underneath the stuff, like a sensor.
What a life though, to have to spy on people to see what.
It was just weird, Lisa.
Stuff,
I mean, that would be like Lance coming up, Cindy. Yeah, my Buddha. It's got something on it. It would be like, how the hell would you know that? I mean, it was like, you guys are gone for a week or something, and you happen to know this one thing in between everything. There's photo frames all around it, and that one thing you knew, and it wasn't even a big vase or big bowl.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you throw keys on it and coins in. And it was just, Greg was like, I think we're going to move out. I think you're going to move out. Like he just didn't like it, So then that's when we went to the apartment. We bought a place in the apartment. And he just didn't, he was just like, uh, yeah, we're going to move. I mean, it was just, oh no, you don't need to move. It was like, I get like the winners. I get the,
Damn.
never fails. If I have another story, I have to tell you next time. It was so embarrassing. They didn't know I was home. I walk in the door, me. I walk in. I was working for Veda at the time. Get home. I saw my friend's truck there. You would close your bedroom door. You know what I'm saying? So, I opened up the door. I don't think you never went to the place where I was living. And it was a house. So I would go through the bedroom to the kitchen, and I was in the back room. And then I had another room. And then my room, kitty catty to her bathroom, but I never used her bathroom because I had my own bathroom, right? So I had a door here that was always closed.
Mm-hmm.
If you went behind that door was her son's room, her bathroom, and her room. It was like a little small corner thing, right? So I'm like walking. I was there for like an hour. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about, but I didn't go in that section there. So I go along, I get undressed, I put on my comfortable clothes, and I'm walking along, and I decide that day to open up the door. All of a sudden, I see two people there. Bam! I was like, did I really see that? They're like looking at me completely. I was all, what? I mean, both of them were like, her dresser was like sitting right here, her dresser, and she's, and he's standing behind as I'm opening up the door. They're both standing there looking. All of a sudden, bam!
You slammed the door, or they slammed the door?
They did. I was in shock. I was like, you're like me opening up this door right here. You're my little door opening. I didn't say a word after that. I was just like, it's okay. It's
man.
I had a vision for the rest of Hi, Andy. I had a vision for like a week. I can still see it right now. I can still. I was just like, dang. Bush balls.
That's bad. Well, this is the place to tell these stories now. Andy, Lance went to Pin HQ in Orlando over the weekend, by the way.
Oh, then he came back? You just go for a few days?
Yeah.
What is in there?
And then Andy, he got me my Pinfolio so I could put all my trading.
That's cool. In. Oh, did he went to the TED thing or no?
Yeah, he went to the TED Talk.
And that's where it was at? I thought it was supposed to be in Texas.
He has one coming up in Texas.
Oh, okay.
So I can put all my pins.
Oh, that's nice.
There we go. See? And then look at all the
Lisa's hobby.
And then I've decided he got me these for playing games.
All right. All right.
And then this is my collection. I'm doing pink and lavender colors. Trying to put as much color, the same colors together.
Gonna have this big old stuff, all these pins, collector pins.
Trade them. I don't want to get too attached to pins. So the bad thing is that you have to, in order to trade, you have to buy.
No, yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
If you're going to collect, yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well, Andy, when him and his wife, they open up their cards, he'll put the prices of what the cards are worth. Have you
I
seen
see
it?
that flashing
That's so
up.
cool. Yeah, that's like, oh, he made out. Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's worth it. I think it's kind of neat,
Yeah, it's fun
Yeah.
to collect these things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there you have it.
Well, good for you. And I'm happy he made a nice trip and came back, and he's doing okay.
Tired.
Oh, I'm sure the flight.
He sat on that plane for over 5 hours waiting to take off.
Really, I remember when Greg and I and Megan, we all went to Florida. We had a flight. And Greg likes to go at night. Well, we did used to go at night because I'm not a good flyer. So we would leave at midnight. Remember, we would tell you we're leaving, going to Hawaii. We're going at midnight. It was always at night. You know what I mean? So we would leave, and then we had a flight to Texas, and then got on the plane there, and then flew for like 6 hours to Florida. Yeah. But nighttime is good for me because he used to say, go to sleep, have a glass of wine. Here, knock yourself out. It'd be like, what's that noise? Why did it do this? What's that bump? What's that water? I hear something, and he was just like, God, go to bed.
Yeah, there's no point in driving yourself crazy when you're flying like that.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays when the whole country is like storms.
And stormy, right. And that's what Megan used to say, Mom, shut up. Mom, you're going to stress me out.
And he was on the plane for 5 hours for takeoff. Flight was supposed to land at 8:45 on Sunday, and it landed at 3:30 on Monday. Oh, it was terrible. I was like, this is terrible. This is not working. But anyhow,
I have to give him credit though. He was away for how many, 27 years, and does everything by himself. He gets on the plane by himself. He's so independent. You know what I mean? It's like no, seriously, he just doesn't, he has no fear. And if he does, he doesn't show it.
Exactly.
He doesn't show the fear. He just goes with the flow.
Let me let the babies in.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and
oh, we didn't do a raffle last time.
Call it a night. Oh, okay.
I was like sitting down, and I'm like, we didn't even do anything. Those poor people. We always say we're going to do it. Let me get mine out. Man, it's been so hot. I'm like heat wave. I feel like I'm in Palm Springs right now or Vegas. One days I'll tell you the rest of my stories of things that happened in my life. Like somebody would have photos and you're like, why did I pick hers up? What is this? Greg goes, why does it always happens to you? I go, I don't know. It just does. Did I ever tell you this one? So Greg and I, we go up north, right, to go to a sales meeting. And Greg always liked to have his little cigarettes. So we would go to this Arco gas station. Okay, I'll let you do I'm gonna let Lisa write some things out because I don't think
forget.
She did.
I forget.
You did what?
I forget.
You forget. Yeah, you won't remember what I'm saying. I got my hair sticking up. Did you see my hair sticking up?
No. You have a raffle? Okay.
Well, I do. I just gotta go in there.
We have Peyton.
Which one is this one? Oh, I gotta redo this. Okay, here I go. And I need a pen. Yeah, I do. Do you hear my bird? Did I tell you that Megan went and bought me another bird?
And I'm writing everybody down because
I know I got to get
Luke, Dan, and Andy are here.
Okay, I got to get a pen. Hold on.
That's easy to remember. Because we had people come in here that don't have channels.
I know. Well, on your side. On your side.
Peyton I may not go live tomorrow, Peyton. I don't know yet. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you stopping by last week.
Yeah. What was I talking about just now? See, I already forgot.
I think flying. Okay.
I already talked
Well, I'm
about
going to do my
flying.
shout out to Peyton, Andy, Dan, and Belt Loop.
Okay. And Peyton and Dan. We'll do all of them.
No, I'm gonna do 4 because other people don't have a channel.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We'll do them.
Yeah.
I was telling you something and I totally forgot. Senile. I totally forgot. Dan. Andy. Yeah, that goes there. And then Peyton.
I should also do a shout out and refer to them as to all our amazing trolls. We appreciate the comment, but booyah.
And this is my personal one, huh?
So to the troll, I should do a shout out to all the trolls that come in and out. Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I got Red Cardinal Kitchen. That's my personal one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna have 5.
We have any trolls here tonight?
I don't know. I don't get trolls. You get the trolls. You get the wonderful trolls.
They don't bother me.
No, they don't bother me.
They don't bother me at all. They're just so silly.
What was I going to say to you? I was going to tell you something that happened to me.
You can save it for next week.
But I don't remember now.
Because now I don't know, you guys. Andy, if you have to everybody out there, if you guys have Disney Plus, Zootopia 2 is out on Disney Plus.
Oh, Disney Plus? Oh, that's a station, right?
It's like streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
And Zootopia 2 just was released.
Okay.
So if you saw Zootopia, check out Zootopia 2.
Okay.
And now Disney has a new movie called Hoppers. And Hoppers is a new movie out by Disney. So I'm going to watch that. Oh, Andy just watched Zootopia 2. He said it was awesome.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah, he said it was awesome.
You know, I haven't watched a Disney movie for a long time.
Well, you got to check it out. And I want to see Hoppers too, but I'm not going to pay to see it. I'll wait for it to
I need to get started. I need to get started. God, it's so hot. I'm sweating right here. Like, oh my God.
All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and take off and get ready for next week.
Yes. And we talk about different things, but midlife, we talk about some true stories and things that happen. So we had a good conversation. Yeah. This was a good night.
And the stream, appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye, everyone. Bye.